too. So I'm installing a Mopar severe duty filter kit on my 2011 Dodge Ram 2500. I picked this kit up at my local dealer for $85 and some tax. The kit part number is right here. Comes with the wire loom, relay, the hose, all your fittings and your bolts, little label, full instruction kit, everything that you need to do. Where you need to cut the wire, where you need to put the ends, so forth. Very nice little instruction kit. In the back of it, it's got a piece that needs to be put in the glove box for anybody doing servicing, so they know what filter number and that this has been modified. The back bracketry is here. So the reason I went with this kit, one, water and filter notification before it gets to the primary filter on the truck. Two, it has a heater for anti-gelling. You will need to flash the computer on this truck with service code P77, I believe. I'll have that in the comments section. This is pretty straightforward install from what I've looked through the manual here. I'll show you how I did it, and I'm doing this on a two-wheel drive, so there's no transfer case or skid plate or anything to get in my way. So tools that are needed are tape measure, pipe cutter, Loctite, mini pry bar, screwdriver, pair of pliers, 1/2 inch, 5/8, 13mm, some extensions, and a ratchet. So this wants me to cut 18 or so inches total out of the fuel line. And I don't know if you can see this, I'm moving the camera around, sorry about that. If I go from where my blue mark is, back here in the back, cheap ass tape measure. Yeah, there we go. You'll see there's about 18 inches to the blue line right there, where I'm at. So what I'm going to do is cut here in the middle so that I can maneuver the line a little bit better and get it out, so I can make some clean cuts on the ends and let it drain here, and then I'll cut each one of these sides. Okay, I got my first cut made. See it right here. So it really makes moving this piping out easier to cut the rest. Okay. Alright, so I've got the nuts on. They're Loctited on with blue Loctite. There's the self-tapping frame one right here. Of course, you see my blue line right here, or my blue mark. Those are the ends. Still got this one kind of pulled out over here. So now I've got to go 3/4 of an inch and take off this black coating on each side it says that if you go past the black coating, you're going to have some primer on this line to prevent rust. And then from here, it's installing the barrel fittings, cutting the hoses to your length, and putting on the press fit ends here. At this point, I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you the results of that. Other than that, this is pretty straightforward. I mean, I'm not going to film how to put a bracket thing or a bracket in a filter head and filter on. And this, I've tried some emery cloth on this right now. I don't know if you can see it. This black coating is a pain to get off. I may have to use some type of heavier type cloth to remove it, and I'll let you know the results of that here in a few minutes. So on this fitting, this is the brass barrel that's got to go on there. Then this will go on. It's got to be 3/4 of the way up. I will make a note on this. If you don't have a tool, use a carpenter's knife or box cutter to scrape this side off. Then go back with emery cloth on it, which will clean it up and make it look nice. That takes a little work, but it is doable. If your barrel doesn't fit over the end of your piping, you may have crushed your piping just a little bit with the pressure of the pipe cutter. Use a pair of pliers to reform it just a little bit. Not a lot. Don't use a lot of pressure to get the barrel over the end. Real easy. So I've got that done. I'm going to put the end on. I've got the ends on here. They press on. Pull the white caps off and then they press on. And then I'll be putting my line on here, and reattaching it to these plastic support. I'll do the other side and I'll show you the results. Okay, so the kit's all together. It's sealed up. I don't have any leaks. The code that I needed to flash is actually a 77P code. Here's some notes to some things I discovered while I was doing this. In order to get the hoses all the way up on the line here, I used some air tool oil to make it easier to push it on there because it's seriously tight. Be sure to put your clamps on your hose before you put this on, because getting this off is going to suck. Same thing on the barb fittings. Go ahead and put your clamps on first. Run your hose up to this edge. Cut right here with a knife. You notice I still have a little bit of clean tubing showing. I haven't got any primer yet to put on those. These things, for the compression fittings, just compress it down as right when it gets tight. Don't try to over torque them or anything. You'll end up screwing that up. Here on the wiring's pretty easy. Just plug them in where they go. Got it on the instruction sheet. I ran mine a little bit around top up here, ran it down, and yes, my water and filter indicator is crooked. That's because the filter was bent when I got it. I had to torque down on this a little bit to stop it from leaking, but other than that, it stopped. I don't have any leaks. I drove it all day yesterday, still no leaks. You can see here, there is my compression fitting, and you can see I had my end on here. Again, I use air tool oil here and a little air tool oil here. I ran it up above on the frame rail. There's an existing wiring harness running here. I zip tied to it, ran it up in, and I'll show you how I mounted the solenoid and everything else. Okay, so I mounted it. Set behind the battery for the relay, so I mounted the relay here with a little self-tapping screw. Of course, these are self-explanatory. The one with the fuse is the red right here. And then of course it jumps to the black, which I set it right here. And you can see back down in here, I packed the wire back down there. This cap here comes off. You don't have to break this whole thing apart. It does have some tabs. You can see them right here. There's 4 of those that you just pop off. You get in there, it's that red wire that's in there. Also, you got to cut that zip tie that's right here. You jump down here to fuel housing. You can see where I have the silicone and the water indicator, and I have the harness plugged in. I've got it following up here, up underneath the brake booster, going to this back side. Went over here and I put the service sticker showing that the fuel system has been modified. Also, before I did any of this, I disconnected both batteries just to be on the safe side. With the kit, they give you a heat sink and a small little clamp. It's junk. So what I did was I went and got a butt connector that has the heat sink ends. I want to say it's the yellow one, and I cut it and heat sunk it together.